Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Ed Martin, president of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. We have another fact check of Mrs. America to do, and actually we've got a couple more. They'll be coming later, but first I'm going to do something of a lighthearted one on the famous pieing of Phyllis Schlafly when she was hit by a pie. We'll talk about that in a minute, but please go to realmrsamerica.com and find out the real story. We got photographs, essays, we've got contributions from famous Americans on how they knew Phyllis. Go to realmrsamerica.com, like it, share it, sign up, subscribe right down here on these videos, and please pass them on to other folks. Let's watch how Mrs. America, the Hulu streaming series by FX, lies about this incident. First, what do they do with it? Let's watch the fictional depiction of this famous pieing incident. Here we go.
Just a bit of perspective.
You're a traitor to your sex by waging war against women.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't a cherry pie because it would have stained my dress.
That event, it really did happen. I mean, it is true that Phyllis Schlafly was pied. There's a guy named Aaron Kay. He is convicted a couple of times of, at least that I know of assault for hitting people with pies. He made it kind of something he did. I think he was paid for it. We don't know for sure who might have paid him for it. But Phyllis, it was really clever of her, of course, to say that she was glad it wasn't a cherry pie because it would have, made a mess on her dress. But the fact is, Phyllis actually was quoted around that time as saying this and saying it later. We have to keep our sense of humor even when confronted by slobs, which is really true. The real Aaron Kay, the pictures of him we'll see in a moment. But Mrs. America left out the facts of this pieing incident. Phyllis had been alerted beforehand that Mr. Aaron was going to come and pie her. She was warned of this. And she was not going to back away. She wasn't going to give her speeches and be present. And so that's why she just went forward. And there is a really good photograph of what happened. Here it is. By the way, it was an apple pie. Go ahead, Mrs. America. You got to think an apple pie, not a cream pie, not a lemon meringue pie. Would have been French. So she got an apple pie. But here's where it gets less funny. Phyllis Schlafly did suffer serious eye damage. I mean, this is a real assault. I mean, someone puts a pie and jams it in your face. It's not that funny. And Phyllis wrote in her newsletter in 1977 this, quote, "The pie gave me an injury in my right eye. And although I expect to fully be recovered after about 3 weeks, it was very inconvenient to be studying for my law school exams with the use of only one eye," end quote. Phyllis ended up being the bigger man in this fight, and she declined to press charges, which she could have done. She didn't do it. Phyllis wrote about the same incident again. Let me read it to you. Quote, "The apple pie incident clearly shows what type of tactics we can expect from ERA proponents. Maybe this is what Betty Friedan meant when she threatened after Florida defeated the ERA, quote, 'We're going to stop being ladylike.' That's what Betty Friedan said. And this was just the tip of the iceberg. Pieing only sounds sort of funny and lighthearted. It was the tip of the iceberg of the feminist violence and cruelty. Bomb threats, death threats, they were common things for Phyllis Schlafly and her Eagles to endure. The feminists, they couldn't argue the facts, so they started intimidating. In fact, there was even a bomb threat called into a Washington, D.C. hotel where the Phyllis and the Eagles were having an event with a U.S. senator. They had to empty that out. Phyllis, the ballroom had to be emptied out. Phyllis was constantly concerned for her safety. But you know what? She didn't stop. And a lot of times there was this sort of mindset, the feminists thought that Phyllis got what she deserved. But that just shows how mean-spirited they were. Phyllis never attacked people. They depict that in Mrs. America, Phyllis saying names, calling people names. There's no evidence of that. That's the fictional. They make up characters in Mrs. America, and then they put words in their mouths and into Phyllis's mouth. In fact, the opposite, I think, would be true if you could look with more clarity. Phyllis Schlafly stood up to many of these threats, even this violence, and she was heroic. So here's what I want to encourage you to do. Please visit realmrsamerica.com. Find out more about her life, about what she did. And please like and share and pass this on to other people and subscribe right down here. We've got a lot to do. We'll be coming back with a fact check on this same episode on some other details. They won't even be, this one was a little bit funny, although the violence is not funny at all. But we've got more work to do. So thank you for watching, and we'll be back very soon.